an investigation into the Super Bowl halftime show featuring Bad Bunny. The lawmaker accusing the nationally televised performance of featuring explicit and indecent language.
To get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States? We have 310 million who don't speak a lick of Spanish.
The biggest night in football just turned into the biggest political firestorm of the year. Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show was supposed to be a cultural celebration. Instead, it has triggered calls for investigations, accusations of illegal content, and a full-blown MAGA meltdown that's now spilling into Congress.
A sitting member of Congress, Tennessee Representative Andy Ogles, has called for an investigation now into Bad Bunny's halftime show, suggesting it amounted to broadcasting, quote, gay pornography during primetime.
Within hours of the performance ending, Republican lawmakers were demanding federal action. Some are pushing the FCC to open a formal investigation into what they described as vulgar, indecent, and even illegal content. One congressman called the show pure smut. Another claimed it crossed the line into gay pornography. And now, letters have officially been sent to regulators asking for potential fines against the NFL, NBC, and even Bad Bunny himself. But here's the twist. Many of the explicit lyrics being cited were either altered, shortened, or not performed during the live broadcast at all. Critics argue that even if certain words were cut off or mumbled, the intent was clear. Supporters say the outrage is politically motivated, and the numbers, they're massive.
On the day after his halftime performance, Bad Bunny took the top 6 spots on Spotify's top 50 US chart.
The halftime show averaged 128.2 million viewers, making it one of the most watched in history. The game itself peaked at nearly 138 million viewers at one point, a record-breaking moment, and on social media, the halftime show exploded past 4 billion views in just 24 hours. Whether people loved it or hated it, they watched. But the backlash isn't just about lyrics. Bad Bunny performed entirely in Spanish, a historic first for a Super Bowl headliner. For some conservatives, that alone became a flashpoint. Megyn Kelly went viral after claiming the Super Bowl should remain quintessentially American and not be Spanish. She criticized the cultural tone of the performance and even suggested the halftime show should reflect traditional American values instead. Meanwhile, Donald Trump publicly slammed the performance, calling it an affront to American greatness and criticizing the choreography as inappropriate for children. And then came the rumors. Social media lit up with claims that Bad Bunny burned the American flag on stage. That image went viral fast. Except it wasn't real. The photo originated from an AI-generated parody account and had nothing to do with the actual performance. Then there was speculation that he handed his Grammy to a child allegedly detained by ICE, also false. The boy was an actor. And the bulletproof vest theory. Some online claimed Bad Bunny wore protective gear under his structured outfit, suggesting he feared political retaliation. There's no confirmed evidence of that either, but the rumor alone fueled the drama. Still, one moment did stand out politically. Before this event, Bad Bunny had publicly criticized ICE and immigration policies. That context only intensified reactions from MAGA supporters who see him not just as a performer, but as a cultural and political symbol. Now, some Republican lawmakers are demanding to know who approved the halftime show content in advance, what standards were used, and whether regulators should intervene. They argue that over 130 million viewers, including children, and were exposed to material that violated broadcast standards. At the same time, supporters are calling the backlash exaggerated, saying the performance celebrated Latino identity, diversity, and unity, not obscenity. So now the Super Bowl halftime show isn't just about music. It's about culture, language, politics, and power. And this might only be the beginning, because the bigger question now isn't what Bad Bunny sang. It's why this moment hit such a nerve. The performance opened with imagery many interpreted as subtle commentary on immigration and identity. At a previous awards show, Bad Bunny had openly criticized ICE enforcement, even saying ICE out during a speech. That alone had already put him on conservative radar, so when he stepped onto the biggest stage in American television, some were already primed for outrage. And while the halftime show itself avoided direct political speeches, symbolism was everywhere. Puerto Rican flags, lyrics referencing cultural history, a same-sex couple dancing among the performers, Ricky Martin joining on stage. To supporters, it was visibility. To critics, it was provocation. One Tennessee lawmaker even questioned whether the NFL and NBC had prior knowledge of what would be shown, arguing that rehearsals and broadcast delays mean nothing slips through accidentally. He wants to know who approved the choreography, the lyrics, the staging, and whether broadcasters should be held accountable. At the same time, the alternative All-American halftime stream promoted by Turning Point USA peaked at around 5 million viewers, a fraction of the official show's audience. Yet that counter-programming became part of the cultural clash, framing the night as two competing visions of America. And then there's the political commentary swirling around this entire situation. Some conservative voices argue that this wasn't just a performance. It was a cultural statement about immigration, language, and shifting demographics in America. Supporters counter that the outrage reveals deeper discomfort with Latino influence on mainstream platforms. Meanwhile, regulators have not announced any enforcement action. The NFL and NBC have remained largely silent publicly, but the pressure campaign from certain lawmakers is real and very public. What makes this even more explosive is timing. We're heading into another intense election cycle. Cultural flashpoints are currency, and a halftime show watched by more than 120 million Americans. That's a massive stage for symbolic battles. For Bad Bunny, the controversy may only strengthen his brand. His social media engagement shattered records. International audiences drove more than half of the online views. Spanish language broadcast numbers in the US hit historic highs during the halftime show. In other words, while MAGA calls for investigations, Bad Bunny's global reach just expanded. So was this an illegal performance that crossed regulatory lines? Or was it a cultural shift playing out in real time on America's biggest stage? Either way, the Super Bowl halftime show has officially become more than entertainment. It's now a political lightning rod, and Washington is watching. And if lawmakers really move forward with an FCC probe, this story could escalate fast. Stay tuned, because this culture war just stepped onto the field.